Should I consider buying a manufactured home? So I have learned I can't afford a regular home where I live. I make $23.58 an hour and have no debt, but I can't leave the town I am in because my work won't allow it, nor will they give me a raise other than what I get for yearly reviews. Apartments are getting too expensive, and I found out that my family thinks I am a lazy embarrassment to the family, since I asked if I could move back in to save money and that I don't own a real home. So my only option at this point is to be trailer trash and see if maybe I can outright buy a manufactured home in a trailer park and live in that for a few years, and hopefully save enough for a down payment. Yes, I know trailer parks still have rent, but it is usually about 600 bucks rather than the 1100 I am currently paying. Is this a good idea or am I wasting my time again? Now, personally, if for some weird reason that you had to be forced to go down the mobile manufactured route, I would do that if I also owned the land that it was on. And the reason for that, in my mind, perhaps the land could raise in value to counteract the loss in value of the mobile home slash manufactured home, right? And that's really the only kind of like time where I could view it as like a justification of doing that route, right? Because typically manufactured homes, mobile homes tend to get basically worthless, right? Like you lose crazy amounts of value. So at that point, it gets to this question, right? Why not just go buy a very old pre-owned, or not, maybe not even old, but like a very good in condition pre-owned like RV? Why not just do something like that? Because basically, like an apartment slash trailer slash manufactured home, whatever, you could also move it to wherever you want to, so you're not tied to like leaving this thing on a trailer lot, whatever. And you could literally just buy land that potentially has already setups where you could just hook it up to your own RV. That might be my route to go if I was forced down this path, but I would definitely not want to go living in the trailer park route. Like manufactured homes, mobile homes, like there are some pretty nice ones out there nowadays, but putting that into a trailer park, I don't know about that. So this person says, I know a guy who did that. He's not handy though, and he's now locked into a vicious cycle of things break. He pays someone a few months worth of lot rent to fix it. Something else breaks, he's out hundreds. Interior pipes freeze because he can't heat them up enough or cut the supply. He cleans and spends a few hundred to fix it. He saved roughly $400 per month on lot rent compared to an apartment, but spends that back on fixing things when they break. He's also stuck with a rotting trailer that will cost him 5K to have removed and virtually no savings now. On the other hand, my cousin is handy and did a trailer for a few years, doing all the maintenance and upgrades himself for a few years. He sold the trailer and bought a house the other year. Yeah, see? You can't leave the town you're in because your work won't allow it. Sounds like maybe new work is something to consider in a new town. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that statement. Let's see. I started my home buying career at 23 with a manufactured home. I didn't lose any money at all on it. It was an older model and had already taken its depreciation. Also, here in Wisconsin, the only tax you pay on it is personal property. That's pretty nice. It worked out great for me. Ditto. I was also 23, paid $14,000, and sold it for $13,500 5 years later. I was also in Wisconsin, lot rent 240 and free water. It gave me the foundation to buy a home with a decent down payment. See, like this isn't that bad of an idea. I really don't like the idea of lot rent though. I'm just here to say I'm so sorry your family thinks you're an embarrassment. That's wrong with them. If you were my child, I would welcome you back home to save money and get a better financial footing. Best of luck to you, and I'm proud of you for your efforts. So it depends. Honestly, as someone who fixes these bad boys up all the time, they aren't as bad as people make them out to be. Can you afford to buy one outright? Financing them can be tough. Just like a regular home, things will break and you will need to replace them, or it will become a trailer trash. My suggestion would be if you're a handy type of person, buy one in somewhat rough conditions that you can fix up and not lose any money on. They are easy to work on, especially if you get a small single wide. The main downside really is not owning the land and the stereotypes of trailer trash that come along with them. But I've seen some beautiful ones out there. If you don't care about owning the land and the stereotypes and you can find one that you could fix up or for cheap, I'd go for it. This person says currently living in a late 90s double wide that hasn't ever been moved. Did all the renovations on it as the previous occupant was a chain smoker and incontinent. The house was rough. All new flooring, subfloors were solid, just treated the problem spots and sealed with kills. All the walls got two layers of kills and paint, tape, and mud the walls so it looks less trailery. Trimmed everything out with 1x3 or 1x4 furring strips for that farmhouse look. We've got a solid house that's nice and fresh for a fraction of what it would cost anywhere else. The lane it's on is in the family and not going anywhere. Life is good. See, that's what I'm saying, right? I personally don't think there's necessarily anything wrong going down the route of a manufactured or mobile home, but only if you basically own the land underneath it, because then no matter what happens, you could always just get like another, like say your mobile home, manufactured home were to just completely get destroyed, right? For whatever reason, insurance didn't cover it, whatever, right? Well, you could just easily go and buy another home, right? Because it's on your land, you could just get it shipped there, and what do you know? Now you got another home that you could live in, right? So I don't think it's the worst idea, but in terms of like trying to grow your net worth, right, while also living in a home, then a more traditional home would make more sense if you're trying to increase your net worth. But if you're someone that basically has no responsibilities, or you're someone that doesn't really care about that and just cares about having like a lot of land or something, then it might not be that bad of an idea. Let's see. So let's see. This person says financially it's like living in a car with plumbing. They are depreciating assets and you don't own the land they're on, leaving you at the mercy of the landowner since you can't move the thing once it's in place. Which is why I say it makes better sense if you did at the very least own the land that it would be on. Let's see. I wouldn't go into a manufactured home because your family is pressuring you to own a home. There's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to save, and if your parents are okay with the arrangement, who cares what everyone else says? The average person is in debt up to their eyeballs, and many folks are one missed payday away from a really bad situation. Another consideration is moving to a more affordable area if it's unrealistic to live where you are at currently. Now, it was also kind of interesting too. Now, I saw something listed on Zillow not too long ago, whereas basically, like, if you were to spend $80,000, you could get a very nice RV combined with the rights of this like a lot and almost like this campground type of situation that you have access, like it gets connected to the electricity, the water, the plumbing, whatever. You have all these amenities like really nice amenities. You got like swimming pools, etc., like gyms at this one campground area for like 80K, right? But you own the lot, you own the RV, and you basically enjoy all the amenities in it. It's like almost like a private little, almost like a private neighborhood slash retirement area in this like mountain camp thing. It was like a really weird thing. But for 80K, RV, lot, hooked up to electricity, water, internet, has all the amenities of basically anything you'd need. Like There's a small like shop there. There's a gym. There's pool. There's like home. There's just like things that you could just go and do. You could go hike. You could go to the rivers, whatever, right? And that was only for 80K. So something like that might make some sense to me, depending on your situation and how far that is from your job, etc. But maybe think more outside of the box, right? Which is why I said maybe instead of going the manufactured, maybe instead of going the mobile home, maybe just get a cheap pre-owned RV, right? Because you can move it anywhere you want to. You could potentially buy some plot of land that is potentially very cheap. And if it's already able to be hooked up to electricity and water on that piece of land, then what else do you really need? That's just something to think about. Let's see. This person says, I live in a double wide that we got for $1,000 because it was a foreclosure sale. My mobile home parks has an updated list of homes they need to just place people in. It didn't need any work, the former owner died, and the family didn't do anything with it, so the park took possession. Definitely worth it. $800 per month lot rent for 2 bed, 2 bath, backyard, garden, 2 car driveway. Property taxes are like $500 versus the $6,500 for a house in the area. Insurance is $280 annually. Free water, sewer, garbage. Neighbors are all old and quiet. They're great. Sure, it's a depreciating asset, but I can sell it for 70K, so that's 69K profit as is. We're saving so much money, it's far better than owning a house right now. Been here 8 years. Now, that's a very unique situation where that basically, no matter what, they're pretty much making a profit from living there. Let's see. Go for it. My girlfriend lives in a trailer park, and if things work out with her, I'm moving in. Her lot fees are a third of my rent, and she has a yard. Don't let the stigma ruin it. My friend did this. She's happy because they kept raising her rent. I dislike how you think living in a trailer park makes you trash, though. Let's see, my first home was a manufactured home attached to what looks like a real foundation in a beautiful, well kept community. Built substantial equity in it, even though I didn't own the land. Best investment I ever made, although it's true that many manufactured homes are nestled in seedy trailer park style communities, so location matters big time. Could you buy a small piece of land and put a tiny home on it? That way you could save money and eventually use it as a rental once you move on. P.S. Sorry about your family. Sounds like you're just trying to set yourself up better financially by moving home for a bit. No, tiny homes are banned in Missoula, Montana due to accessory dwelling unit laws, nor can I afford land. Oof, dear lord. Let's see. So you're right, $600 for the pad rent, then there's the payment for the mobile home you bought, plus you can't get a typical mortgage on a mobile home. You have to take out a line of credit, I believe, plus some banks want at least 25% down. Mobile homes lose value real quick. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you could like buy one like cash and put it on your own place, why not? We did that in 2008. We bought a 1985 single wide with cash and then just paid $300 a month for the lot rent. After 3 years of working and saving, we built a new house. Went back to the trailer park a couple months ago, and people are still living in that trailer. Nothing to be ashamed of, and if you do it right, you can use it to really get ahead. Hmm. Let's see. Where I am, I own my lot and pay no fees. Don't know why everyone assumes all trailer parks are rentals. Let's see, most of them are, and in urban areas, the lot rent is ridiculous and predatory even if you do own the trailer because it's expensive and difficult to move. Interesting. Manufactured homes are great if you own the land. I wouldn't do it if you are renting the land, though, especially with home only chattel loan rates as high as they are. It's funny how manufactured homes are frowned on so much. I mean, I get it considering what trailers were like back many years ago, and 1,000% so if it's in a trailer park or in a poor neighborhood with nothing but single wides on small properties. But nowadays, if you live in a rural ish area that is close enough to commute to good jobs, decent double wide manufactured homes on your land are great. Bigger than a starter home, they will upkeep for your life if you take care of them, and so much cheaper than it can be the difference between being a middle class person unnecessarily experiencing wage slavery and being someone who's living comfortably enough and can save money. No, go with an RV, then you aren't bound to one house for years, possibly longer. I'm almost 32 years old. I've been a failure for the last 13 years, failed at college multiple times, failed at the army, criminally failed, thankfully not a felony, and failed at life in general. I'm finally just now turning it all around. Hey, props to you. If I may ask, what kind of RV did you eventually go for? Also, I'm glad you're turning it around. That must feel pretty damn good. Let's see. When we were living in one full time, we had fifth wheels. We started with a bed, stove, and table. Not even a working bathroom in our first one that we traded for a Vespa. After a few months, we found a fifth wheel that was in almost immaculate condition considering it was well over 15 years old at the point. Eventually sold that one because my husband's parents paid for a $4,500 one up front and we paid them back in what we could over time. And yeah, it feels good. It was dark for a while, but I've slowly been working my way out of the rut. Interesting. Let's see. So this one's interesting. So trailer trash. A lot of mobile homes are very nice now. People can say what they want about mobile homes, but if you take care of it, it doesn't always mean you'll lose money. My grandmother bought her double wide for 30K. Nice quiet mobile home park. Sold it for 15 years later for 45K. My parents' house is a manufactured on land, bought for 70K 20 years ago, now worth 200K. But that's mainly because of the land, right? So that's what I'm saying, right? If you were to go down this path, I would rather someone go more so on like also buying land with it than just the mobile home or the manufactured home. Let's see. I did it and I'm making in the low six figures in single. I did it because I was tired of paying mortgage plus for others and started doing the math. If I bought a single wide and paid lot rent for 3 years, I'd be 40K invested renting in my area for 3 years, cokes out at $1,500 per month roughly just for an individual before adding pets. Deposits, etc. comes to 54K. I'm already getting handyman experience and ideas for preventative measures and lots easier to accumulate house heavy equipment with a lower monthly bill than zapping your pocket every month. For example, I'm in the snow belt, so yard equipment and snowblower aren't cheap, and I have a chance at selling and recouping some of the investment, whereas renting leaves me with nothing. I vote do it. I was going to do this because I couldn't afford a home either, but I waited a few years and got enough money for a condo, and I'm so glad I did. Like others have said, manufactured homes depreciate no matter how nice they are on the inside. I hope you can find something in your price range. Renting sucks. Interesting. I bought a few trailers when I was younger. The great starter homes. I always turned a profit at sale too. I don't know why so many people think they're a depreciating asset. I have had dozens of trader friends, and they all sold for profit too. I bought a beater for 6K and 5 years later sold for 25K. I had made some improvements like redo pipes with PEX and got $200 of used hardwood flooring off Craigslist. Not really anything else major. My other trailers, I bought one for 10K and sold for 13K less than a year later. Another one I got for 12K and sold for 18K a couple years later. I thought about renting them out, be a trailer park king. They're nice for learning about home ownership on a lower level too. Things like fixing minor electrical or pipes or other general upkeep. I fired a pistol through the roof once, patched it with spray foam and tar. So cheap to live in too. My trailer, my last trailer only cost $400 per month space rent plus $300 per year taxes. Easy to save money. All in all, they're great little investments, especially as a first home. Highly recommend. Plus, trailer park people are the best neighbors, hands down. I've owned half a dozen rural houses, and the difference in neighbors is astounding. Trailer folk are just all around better people, rural life humble folk, welcoming friendly folk. Miss having neighbors like that. Interesting. Okay, so when we were looking at homes, we found a nice modular home but couldn't find a lender with a reasonable rate for it. Modular manufacturers in trailers seem to be in a different class than stick built for whatever reason. I did recently learn that our local bank will let you add potential rental income to your loan as income if you plan on renting out the other rooms in your house. Might be worth looking into your county to see if they offer incentives. One county close to me will give you 30% if you turn your property into deed restricted housing, and another country, well, county, I guess, is offering 1,000 per month if you rent to a teacher. That's interesting. Hmm. Looking to tiny home options, still need a plot to park it on, but can be lower rent. Easier to move if you want. Think of a big camper trailer, more trendy than a trailer park mobile home. Blah 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 blah. I did exactly what you are thinking about many years ago. The trick is not to buy a brand new one. I had rented a beautiful 2-year old trailer when it was parked at the lake on a rented lot. I used it on weekends with my ex. Around the time that relationship was breaking up, the owner defaulted on the loan, so I contacted the bank to see if I could buy it. Back then, it was worth 14.5k, and I got it for the sweet price of 6.5k, financed through my credit union. I moved it 100 miles back to near the city and parked it on a picturesque 3-acre lot in a trailer park. I do not recommend moving them very far if you can help it, as the company you hire is not responsible for any damage en route. I lost a ton of floor insulation. It's really hard on them. I lived in that trailer happily for 3 years while I saved up for my first home, and it worked. I put it up for sale and had a ton of interest, mostly because everyone loved the lot and it had a wood burning fireplace. I sold it for 8k and bought my first home. Contact banks and credit unions in your area to see if they have any repos in their inventory. These trailers are usually just a couple of years old and they will sell them for less than loan payoff. They are desperate to get them off their books for a major discount. There is your ticket to start building wealth. 4 homes later, I'm married, and we now have a retired back of the lake and a new 5,000 square foot house. My dream house. That trailer was our stepping stone to home ownership, and frankly, I loved living in it too. It was nicer than any apartment I had lived in, and if you keep up with minor maintenance, you will more than get your investment back. Just don't be dazzled into buying a brand new trailer, and you'll be fine. Interesting. Yeah. Feel free to give your thoughts on this. To me, it makes perfect sense to do this only if you're able to buy the land as well.